Crops are suffering from the relentless heat, and Dr. Bill Burdine with the Mississippi State Extension Center is here to tell us just how the hot temperatures affect crops. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. When you hear about the drought monitor, as we mentioned at the top of the show, what goes through your mind as a scientist when it comes to our crops?
Biggest thing will be what's going to happen at the end of the year when we start trying to harvest. The growers are trying to take their product to the elevators to sell, and so how much damage is going to be done.
Now, why do you think that has happened? What led to that?
Well, there's a couple issues that's actually going on right now with our drought. To really know what's going on, we've got to back up to the spring. When we were planting, a lot of the fields were very, very wet. When that soil is that wet, the roots stay really high up on the soil. They don't go down deep because they don't need to. They're trying to stay up high to get oxygen. Now we're dry, the roots aren't deep enough to get what moisture is left down deeper in the profile. So it's kind of a double whammy that we're taking right now. Too much moisture in the spring, and now we've run out of moisture in the summertime.
Now, you actually shot some of this video for us of the wilted corn, some of the fields here. Where is this actually? And when you see something like this, what goes through your mind?
All right, well, the video that I shot came from the North Mississippi Research and Extension Center, where my office is located, and this is some of our research plots. The video actually doesn't show it as bad as what it had been looking a few days before. I shot this earlier in the morning, but later in the afternoon you'll start getting more wilting. Well, when the plants wilt because they don't have enough moisture to hold the leaf out right, as it wilts, it's not catching as much sunlight, so it can't make as much energy to put into the grain production. So again, we're wilting, we're losing energy production, and every time we lose energy production, we're losing grain field at the same time.
And the heat, of course, over the last couple of days, last week and before then, how much of a role does the heat play on the crops as well?
It's going to play a huge role. Right now, the ears that I actually brought, these came from just 20 feet apart. It's the same planting, it's the same hybrid, everything's identical. This one ran out of moisture a little bit earlier, and it also ran out of nitrogen. If there's not enough moisture in the ground, the fertilizers are not in liquid form, so the plants don't take them up as well. So it just ran out of nitrogen, and the moisture is, again, it's another double whammy. So every kernel has to have a silk coming out the end of the plant, which everyone's seen, but every one goes to a kernel, and if we don't get good pollination or enough moisture, it cannot fill that individual kernel out for us.
Now, when it comes to heat and the crops, of course, how is this going to play a role in regards to the ongoing inflation?
The lower the yield, the higher the demand's going to be for what crops there are there. Same thing with supply and demand with gasoline. It's going to be the same thing with corn, wheat, all of our feedstocks that are going to livestock or to feed ourselves. And people don't understand a lot of times just how much products come from soybeans and corn that we're not even eating. We're using them in some other fashion.
All right then. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bill Burdine, for giving us that lecture in regards to farm, as well as the crops, as well as the heat and the impact. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Still to come on WTVA 9 News.